Welcome to the Off Base. Late start this morning. I'll explain why. Welcome to the Off Base podcast, the podcast carefully crafted to remind you to suck a fat one if you think you're the only one, because you're not. I certainly am not. I'm your host. I'm the Rocky Mountain no-name Jackass. It is 48 degrees outside in the city of Aurora. It's 9:48 in the a.m. A little late on December the 8th, 2021. Chaw time. So, off we go. Yay! Back to work. Just dropped my stepdaughter off. I'm in front of her school today. She had a dentist appointment. So after I dropped the boys off, her dentist appointment was at 9. It's 9:48. Super fast. I fucking love this dentist office. They are incredible. We got there early. They took us early. I can't remember the last time that I went to a doctor/dentist appointment where I was on time and they were on time. Fucking love these guys, man. All right, so dropped everybody off. It was about quarter to 8, and then she and I went over to her shopping center where the dentist office is. I gotta tell you this right now. I'm in a great fucking mood, and it's because of the conversation that I had with my stepdaughter before we went into her dentist appointment. Here's what happened. Here's the story. We're an hour early, right? And we even talked yesterday. We're like, let's go get some breakfast before we go to the dentist. So we drive into this mall. It's the Southlands Mall here in Aurora. And the mall, it's quarter to 8 in the morning. It's like nothing is open. So she's saying, I say, okay, well, where do you want to go to breakfast? And I see this one place that has a ton of cars around it. And it has like coffee in its name, right? So it's like almost screaming at you, we serve breakfast. We serve breakfast, right? So I'm driving towards it, and my stepdaughter's getting all pissy. She's like, I don't want to go to this place. She tells me two other places that she wants to go. One is a burger place. And I'm like, okay, yeah, they're serving burgers for breakfast. And then the other place, I can't remember what it was. It's escaping me. Because, I forgot the name of it. It had like hot dog in its name, or crazy dog, something like that was the name of the restaurant. And I could see it in the distance, and it clearly looked like it was a lunch/dinner place. And also I looked in the parking lot, and there was nothing there. So I pulled into the quote-unquote breakfast place that was open with a ton of cars already there, and she kept bitching and moaning, and I'm like, fine. We'll go to these other places that I know are not open, because it's quarter to 8 in the morning. So we go to that crazy dog, lazy dog, salty dog, whatever the hell it's called. Nobody in the parking lot, no lights are on, and that's it with that one. So I'm feeling, of course, justified, because I only did this. We had an hour to kill. So I was only doing this to prove a point to her that, restaurants like this salty dog, crazy dog, whatever, they don't serve breakfast. So then she goes, well, let's go to the burger place. And she had been there before with her mother, and now for some reason couldn't find it. So I basically drove around the perimeter of this entire Southlands Mall trying to find this fucking place, just to prove the point to her that it's not going to be open to serve breakfast. Well, we get very close to the end, and here's the hamburger place, this burger place. And we pull up, and there's like two cars in the parking lot. And she goes, oh, it doesn't look like they're open either. I said, yeah, it doesn't look like they're open either. And she goes, and we pulled up to it. And I said, all right, well, just get out and try the door and see if it's open. She goes, well, if I get out, I'm not going to be able to open the door anyway. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said, they only have a drive-through. And I'm like, they're not open. And she's like, well, there's lights on. And I was like, all right, fine. Do you want to go through the drive-through here, or do you want to go to the other place that we know is open, that has coffee in its name, that's going to be serving breakfast food. And she goes, oh, let's go to the coffee place. So I'm driving out of the parking lot, and lo and behold, there's a truck that turns in before I turn out. And lo and behold, this truck turns into the drive-thru. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Don't tell me this place is open. And this place was open. And needless to say, I was annoyed that my stepdaughter made me drive around looking for a breakfast place that I knew wasn't going to be open. And now I'm starting to feel feelings of fucking embarrassment and frustration because it's looking like this stupid burger place is open. We drive into the drive-thru, sure enough, following the truck that turned in front of me. Sure enough, you could place an order. But as I said, I'm feeling embarrassed. And I even said to her when we pulled into the drive-thru, I said, oh, well, it looks like the drive-thru is open. I'm sorry. So I apologized to her at the outset. But that doesn't mean that I still wasn't feeling fucking annoyed and embarrassed that she was right about a burger place being open for breakfast. So here's where I let all my frustration out. I couldn't let it out on her, right? She was correct. And I apologized. But this fucking jackass gets on the loudspeaker, whatever the hell it's called, the intercom. He's like, hey, can I help you? And I said, yeah, let's take a look at the menu. Because they only have like this little portion on the bottom left-hand corner of where the menu's at. And I'm like, okay. Now we're ready. I said, you ready for us? He said, order when ready. So I said, all right, we'd like 3 bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches. And he goes, burritos? Is that what you want? 3 burritos? I said, 3 bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches. I didn't hear that last word. 3 bacon, egg, and what? 3 bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches. And I said it just like that, man. I was fucking annoyed. And I could tell that he was probably like, oh, this dude's an asshole, right? And I was, right after I said it, I felt like I was being an asshole. So then he goes, is there anything else? I said, yes, 1 coffee, please don't spit in it. And then he came back. He was probably like this 20-year-old kid. He came back with this comment. He was like, why would I spit in your coffee, sir? Why would we do that? And I said, I don't know. Just please don't. Like, trying to make a joke. I don't know if it was funny or not. It was to me at the time. And then he goes off on this tirade. He's like, we are honest people here, sir. He said, that was completely uncalled for. And part of me was like, you're honest people? How do I know that? And then he said something. I want to try to remember the exact words. He said something along the lines of, it's completely uncalled for to tell us to do that. Or I forgot how he said it. But I told him, I said, no, you're misquoting me. Or he said, it's completely uncalled for you to say that we do that. And I said, look, man, you're misquoting me. I didn't say that you do that. I just said, please don't. And then there was silence. And then like 2 other voices came on the intercom and they gave me my total. So apparently that kid was like, I'm not talking to this guy. He's trying to make a joke. But, my humor doesn't always land in the correct locations. And plus, these young kids these days. Anyway, I got up to the window to pay. And I paid. He gave me the coffee. There ain't no way I fucking drank that, I'll tell you this much. Plus, it stunk. It tasted like, it smelled like it was bitter. And he gave me the coffee, he gave me the receipt back. I rolled up my window, pulled up the car a little bit, and rolled down my stepdaughter's window, who was in the back seat, and had her take the food. So she was visibly pissed at me because I was fucking with the drive-thru dude, which I have done in the past. Like, there are times when I enjoy, I don't want to say fucking with, but playing around with drive-thru people. I was fucking with this guy. But sometimes I enjoy just playing around with drive-thru people because, number one, they got a shitty job, right? So it's fun to give them, try to put a smile on their face. But this guy fucking annoyed me because I was feeling, like I said, embarrassed that my stepdaughter was right, and annoyed that she made me drive around the entire shopping mall trying to find this fucking place. So when we finally stopped to start eating our food, she was still pissed at me, because I think the kids hate when I do mess around with the drive-thru people. And I started to talk through it with her, because we had about an hour. She starts eating her sandwich, I start eating mine. Oh, and by the way, all she ate off her sandwich was the bacon and the top bun. The reason why? They put mayonnaise on the sandwich, and my stepdaughter hates mayonnaise. So the egg and the cheese touched the mayonnaise, so as well as the bottom bun, obviously. So she did not eat the entirety of her breakfast. So we start talking through it, and I basically said to her everything that I said to you guys as things were going along. Just that I was upset or embarrassed that she was right about there being a burger place that was open for breakfast. And what I ended up doing was I ended up acting out. And I told her, I said, I couldn't act out on you because I apologized to you. I was wrong. But it doesn't mean I wasn't still feeling what I was feeling. And I took it out on that drive-thru dude. And she understood that. So she went from being pissed at me to being empathetic towards my situation. And we ended up watching after we finished eating and ended up talking that through, we ended up watching a video from Jordan Peterson. And if you guys don't know who he is, just go ahead and search him on YouTube. He's a fantastic psychologist. Made national headlines. Psychologist, I think, from the University of Toronto. He's definitely Canadian. But he made national and world news, actually, when the whole transgender issue blew up a couple years ago, and I think it was the Ontario Human Rights Commission was going to mandate speech, in particular the use of certain pronouns. And he basically said, fuck that, you can't tell me what I can and cannot say. That is a violation of our human rights that and I'm paraphrasing, that goes to the core of what it means to be a free person. So he made world news on this because all the news organizations, all the lefty news organizations were trying to pin him down as being a transphobe. And he's like, I never said I was a transphobe. He said, I have transgender students in my classes, and I treat them with the utmost respect. If they ask me to call them he or she, I will. But what I don't agree with, I vehemently disagree with, is some governmental authority telling me what I can and can't call someone. That's where the problem lies. And he was so steadfast in his arguments. He made all of these news organizations. I mean, he was on Australian news, British news. He was in America as well. He just made these people look like complete and utter assholes. And round of applause to Jordan Peterson. So in addition to being famous for that, he also is a phenomenal psychologist. I mean, I've never, sat down with a session with him, but I've watched a bunch of his lectures online, as well as when he's on the Joe Rogan podcast as well. And the things that he talks about in terms of improving your own human condition. And that's another reason why I like him. And that's another reason why I have a problem with the way in which our government has evolved over my lifetime. It's a matter of individuals relying less and less on themselves and more on government. And Jordan Peterson's whole argument, to develop as a human, you have to continue to rely more and more on yourself. Develop your own strengths. And one of the videos that we watched, my stepdaughter and I, it was just like this little 5-minute video on how to tell which of your friends are actually your friends. And the way he phrased it was phenomenal. I can't remember the way he phrased it. He said, your friends are people who want to bring out not the best in you, but the best of what you offer. I think that's the way he said it. I'm fucking it up, but my stepdaughter really liked what he had to say. I love what he has to say. But she immediately related it to an issue that she was having with her older brother. And we figured out, ways in which we can behave so as to not facilitate even more of the bad behavior. and we'll see how well it plays out when those two are interacting after school and in the days beyond. Here we go, coming back on base. I'm about to make the turn. Just a really, really nice morning. She and I ended up having a great morning after the breakfast drive-through issue. But from my side of things, I mean, these are the things that people my age who grew up in a similar childhood environment, which was the sit down and shut up environment, where I actually had a chance to verbalize and talk through what was going on inside me. Because as soon as we pulled away from the drive-thru, I said to her, how could I have done that differently? And she said, well, maybe you shouldn't have said that thing about spitting in the coffee to the guy. And I said, yeah, but why? Why did I say that? And that's how it got into our discussion. Hang on one second. Morning, man.
Morning. How are you?
Very well. How are you?
I'm good.
This is good.
You have a great day. Your picture is awesome. You have a great day.
So on my military ID, I have an enormous cheesy smile. When they took my picture, they said, okay, smile. And I went, like that. That's why she said my picture is hysterical or amazing or whatever she said. But anyway, what I recognized with my stepdaughter is that I could have done that interaction with the drive-through dude differently. 10 years ago, maybe there might have been a 10% chance of me admitting that I could have done it differently. 20 years ago, fucking forget it. It would have been like, that's who I am, take it or leave it, fuck you. You grow older, you start to realize, man, yes, I could have done that differently. And that kind of cracks me up. This is the last thing that I guess I'll talk about this morning is regret, right? We have big regrets, we have little regrets. But, and I could be wrong on this, but I think that what helps to define you as a mature person is realizing that, yes, you could have done something differently. It's not a matter of, oh yeah, I wouldn't have changed anything because it made me the person I was today. That's fine. Yes, you are the person you are today because of the choices that you made, but God damn it, don't you wish you could have done it differently? I'll leave it on that with the Rocky Mountains in the background, city of Denver skyline in the foreground. Wishing everybody a good day out there, and I'll smell you this afternoon.